Dyer's Daily.
So a few years ago, I was looking around on TuneIn at talk stations. I was doing some research for a project that I was doing at the time, and I stumbled upon American talk radio. I started looking at the stuff that was there in that country, and I was amazed at this humongous range of different stations, and one that I kept going back to was a station called The Point, which is in South Carolina. It's Columbia's local talk radio experience, and it's run by a guy called Kevin Cohen, who has many years in the industry. And the station's been going, I think, about 7-8 years, something like that. It's relatively young. But what I loved about it was, alongside the syndicated program that you get on an American talk station, which I later found out is kind of the norm, you got this local stuff. He does Breakfast with Brian, and then he does the sort of drive time thing later on. And I loved the style, and despite the fact a lot of the time they're talking about things local to them in America. I mean, I'm in the UK, what relevance would it have to me? Well, the relevance to me is that most things are universal, and I just loved the way that Kevin talked about his community, the kind of attitude that he had towards it, and the fact that he obviously loves what he's doing. And certainly listening to his breakfast program, which is on, between like 11 and 2 or something, when I am listening, where I'm listening from. Considering that, I think it's a wonderful listen. It's really interesting, and even the ads in between are quite entertaining. And I love the little things that Brian puts into the thing. He's a proper kind of foil for Kevin, because they talk about a range of different things. And what I love about American radio is that it's not that they can say anything they want, but it's a little bit freer in some ways than British radio. So I love that sense of freedom. I love that it's like listening to a friend, which is what good talk radio should do. It's like listening to a friend that you haven't seen for a while. And I've communicated with Kevin a couple of times over email, and I've found him to be very charming, very kind of very friendly, a friendly guy, and I like that in a talk radio presenter. It really comes across on the air. So, I discovered American talk radio, and I kind of became addicted to it. That's all I would listen to for ages. And certainly with The Point, it's still my go-to station. I must ring in at some point. I'll have to look at overseas charges and ring in. So, Kevin, if you're listening to this, at some point in the future, I will ring in, because they get listeners. It's not just me. Like, they get listeners from all over the world, which is kind of amazing. So, obviously, what I say must be true, in case any of you have any doubt. So, yeah, that's 107 The Point, Columbia's local talk radio experience. But I do recommend it because at weekends they have a lot of kind of locally bits, like they have sort of home improvement shows and stuff like that. And I think at one point they had a pet show and like a health and fitness show, and all kind of presented by local people. And I must say as well that I used to listen, although it's on relatively late for me to be able to listen, but I used to listen to a girl on there called Tazima, who was hysterical. I loved her view on things. It was kind of funny, but yet fragrant. I loved it. You can tell I love this station. I just think it's a local station. There's probably lots of them in the States, but to me, as an English person, I personally love it. It's unique, and it's got a nice warmth to it. So the guys at 107 The Point, Columbia's local talk radio experience, in South Carolina, in the USA. Well done, keep going, and I hope to see you soon on the airwaves. I will ring in, but I won't say when. You're just going to have to wait and see, aren't you?
Dyers Daily.
Thank you very much for listening to Dyers Daily. Please be sure to subscribe to Dyers Daily on YouTube as well as on your favourite podcast provider. Oh, and while you're there, please rate and comment as well. You can also email us dyersdaily@southwavesaudio.co.uk if you have any messages for the show. Thank you very much for listening once again. My name is Jamie Dyer and I shall see you on the next podcast. Have a great day. This is a South Waves Audio production.